Hi folks, today I'm going to be teaching you about the hypothalamic-pituitary axis. Now, before we get started, the most important thing to remember is that there are more than one type of chemical information systems in the body. There are actually three, as a matter of fact. So the first is neurotransmission. The second is the endocrine system. And the third is the immune system. But for the purposes of today's video, we'll be focusing on the endocrine system. More specifically, one of the most important endocrine glands that are in the body, the pituitary gland. So, why is the pituitary gland so important? Well, a lot of people refer to it as the master gland because it secretes hormones that are sent to other endocrine glands throughout the body. So it essentially controls other endocrine glands. So what does the hypothalamus have to do with this? So the hypothalamus is a part of the brain that integrates information from the rest of the brain. For example, it detects things like temperature, light, hydration, glucose levels, etc. And the output of the hypothalamus, it sends out neural or endocrine signals. It has, as a matter of fact, it has two types of cells in the hypothalamus. There are magnocellular nuclei and parvocellular nuclei. Magnocellular nuclei go straight to the posterior pituitary. So the pituitary gland has two sections called the anterior and the posterior pituitary. And endocrine gland might be a bit of a misnomer because the posterior pituitary is more like a reservoir. It doesn't actually create hormones, it just holds on to the hormones that have been sent to it from the hypothalamus, which produces them. So magnocellular cells in the magnocellular nuclei from the hypothalamus produce oxytocin and vasopressin, which are sent directly to the posterior pituitary for later dissemination. Whereas parvocellular cells go straight to the median eminence, which is the lower bit of the hypothalamus that connects the hypothalamus to the anterior pituitary. The median eminence is a part of the hypothalamus that connects directly to a portal system, which is a closed circuit of blood vessels that connects directly to the anterior pituitary. So hormones produced in the anterior pituitary are often called tropic hormones. And some examples of hormones that are produced in the anterior pituitary are growth hormone, and prolactin. Growth hormone obviously stimulates body growth and in indirect ways skeletal growth as well, whereas prolactin helps in many different actions including reproduction, growth and development, water and electrolyte balance, and maintenance of integumentary structures, whereas growth hormone helps with growth. Now back to posterior pituitary hormones. What do they do? Well, oxytocin causes uterine contractions, but only when the uterus is responsive to it. Whereas vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone and arginine vasopressin, acts as an antidiuretic and promotes water reabsorption when the body is dehydrated. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this cleared some things up.